Well, welcome back to part 2 of Pixel Stretch. In this video, we are going to create linear and dynamic stretch effect in Photoshop. In the previous part, we had created circular stretch effect and discussed about the methods and details to create pixel stretch. So do not forget to check that out as well. With Photoshop open, this is what we are going to create. This is the linear stretch effect and this is the dynamic stretch effect. So let's start with linear stretch effect. Let's open a new document and set width 1000 and height 1000 with 150 resolution and background color as white. So let's click on OK and here's the new document. So now let's get our model on which we will be working on. Drag and release. Enter to place. Now let's quickly remove the background. And now let's fine tune the details. After making a selection, press Ctrl or Command plus J to create a duplicate layer of that selection. And here's the selection. So let's first convert this layer to Smart Object and name it as Model. Now let's go to Marquee tool and select Single Column Marquee tool. And let's now make a selection here. I think this covers this multiple colors and also the face a little bit. So after seeing the dashed line, let's press Ctrl or Command J, make a new layer out of it, and let's name that layer as stretch. Put that layer below the model layer and don't forget to convert it into the smart object. Now select move tool by pressing V and let's drag this stretch right here and on the back right here. Press enter or return to place it. Now what we will do is rotate this on a, let's say, certain angle and drag this until it aligns with the shoe here. So let's say this. Let's zoom out a bit, zoom in, and let's place this here. And yes, okay. So now as we have rotated it and place it into the proper position, let's make sure we convert this layer to smart object and name it as stretch. So now with stretch layer selected, let's add layer mask to it and press B for brush tool. Make sure your foreground color is black and your brush is hard round. Make sure the opacity is 100, flow is 100, and let's mask out this unwanted region. After masking out the extra part of the stretch band, let's press V and let's make sure we have smart object selected. Now let's make background color. So go to background and let's unlock first the background layer, select the color part and choose color overlay. Press this color picker and pick a orangish color from here. And now let us pick a soft tone for it going near the white. This looks good according to me. A little darker, a little soft color might be. I think this is good. Let's press OK and OK. So let's name this layer as background So now let's make sure we add some little bit of shadows in here to make it look more real. So create a new layer, press B for brush tool. Still make sure the black is selected, and pick a soft round brush, and then let's say go to opacity. Let's get it down to 50, and let's make sure that we don't spill it out. So let's select our mask and let's start a little bit shadows behind. Let's make opacity a bit more. Let's make sure the new layer is above the stretch layer below the model, and let's name it shadow, and let's put this light tint here. If you think it's too dark, let's reduce the opacity to, let's say, 45. Also reduce the brush size so it looks a bit good. Let's make sure also flow is also checked. Okay, if you still feels that it is too intense, let's reduce the opacity to, let's say, 60, and that's good. Also, let's create another layer, and let's press here, press V, get this, and get this shadow, gets this shadow below the shoe here, which looks perfect. Let's name it shadow shoe, and that looks good. So we have created this effect, which is pretty decent. You can add more effects to it, like on the stretch band you can make sure your brush is selected. Just add another layer, and let's make sure we select a lighter tone, and just give it a go. Let's pick screen, and make sure is soft brush with 70 pixel, and let's add some highlights. And name this as highlights. So that's it from the linear stretch. Now let's move on and create this dynamic stretch effect. So let's just group all of them, and so now let's import the model we want to create. So let's get the model from here, drag it in it, and press enter. Okay, so now let's make a selection. And now let's refine the details. Let's duplicate that selection to another layer, and let's just start making pixel stretch effect. So for this model is on a slanting angle. So what we will do, let's first convert it to smart object, name it as model. This model is in a bit more slant position, so what we will do is let's make another copy of it, and let's hide the main layer. And what we will do is let's just rotate it into much more side on position like this, and press enter. And now let's go and select a single row marquee tool this time. And now we are getting all the colors here. So release and then Control or Command J to make a new layer. Now rotate this layer to, let's say, 90 degree, and let's drag that to both sides like this and like this. Press enter. Now what we will do is delete this model copy and make the main model layer visible. Let's get this layer down here. Before doing anything, let's convert this into the smart object. Now press this and let's rotate, and let us just head it around like this. So now let's click on one of the handles, and now right click, and this time instead of distort we will be using wrap. So it gives this mesh kind of thing. And so what we will be doing is get this point to go to here, somewhere around here, and let's say this point would be somewhere around here. Let's make sure it is visible. Let's say this. We can play with these handles to get the dynamic stretch in a way we want, but I think this is good for now. Let's get it done, and here it is. Now what we need to do is let's add a layer mask, and with the brush tool selected and a hard round brush selected, let's just get rid of the extra area if there is any. Okay, make sure your brush is small while working with the details, or while working with the smaller areas or nearby areas of the model, to make sure that what we will do is let's add some shadows. So with black color selected as front, soft round brush, and opacity to let's say 40, and flow to let's say 45. Let's add some shadows in here, in here, and around here, not so much here, just around this boot, and right here. And also I think this part is also missing some, so let's add that here. We can lower the opacity a bit if we want, but I think that's okay. Also, let's add another layer, and let's just press, and let's get this bigger brush. Let's just press this, then select move tool, make sure the shadow is thin and it is placed near the hand. It looks a little cool. Press enter. Also, let's do that same for the boot part. Yes, just a light shadow here too. And what else we can do is add a layer, make it multiply, and with the brush tool selected, let's select a tone to add some depth here. And to add some depth, you should make sure that your stretch band is selected, and also make sure the inner part is selected. So let's just deselect this outer part. Inner part is selected, so go to this layer, press B, and with orange selected, we can add a bit depth to it like this. And now just a bit shadow kind of thing, but it adds that depth in the stretch. That looks good. Now let's create another layer, and let's select a lighter color from this orange. Let's say this one, and turn and make it screen, and make sure you select the whole and just add a bit of shine in here. And here it is. Looks pretty good. Let's change the background color as well. Click on color overlay, click on this color, let's say orange, and also again go to a softer orange, somewhere like this. Press OK and press OK. So here is our dynamic stretch effect. In the previous video we have discussed methods for using different stacks, so make sure you check that out as well. And also the difference between these two is in the linear stage there is not so we use the distort option, so look much more in the angle of the model. And in the dynamic stretch, this kind of twist and turn twists to the band comes into play, which adds the dynamic effect to the stretch band. So let me know in the comments below how you feel. Make sure to like and subscribe, and keep watching Haynes Graphics.